This production was completely different than other productions, mostly because of the environment and where we were at. We were at Death Valley, so to shoot in a desert was not only a huge challenge, but you don't know what to expect.
Every time that you look at a budget, the biggest thing is safety. We went into one of the most non-hospitable places in the world. If you've ever been to sand dunes, which it's hard to show the scale of how crazy big these things are, it's a lot of work just to get to the sand dune. And not only does it take time, but it also takes just a lot of energy to get there. So that means all the food that you need in order to power people through what's going on. It means life support in terms of where we're going to stay, because honestly there are no hotels, so we had to figure out how to have people sleeping out in these places and being safe. We're filming in a situation where there's no access to water, there's no access to normal waste management, there's no service at all for cell phones. And then on top of that, like, how do you keep people not sunburned? And it's normal to get up into the 120s, and then to be able to continue pushing is a whole other level. So how do we do that on an independent scale? One of the biggest things that we were constantly fighting against was coming to the top of a sand dune, and then
30-mile-an-hour sand winds.
About 80% of the time.
You have an entire group of people who are dressed to be as cool as they can be in 160-degree weather, and we're just getting blasted with sand.
The stop and start was really, really time consuming for sure. We had to cut and stop and wait for the wind to pass.
And in the case of Amy, I think she was such a trooper because it would always be, okay, you're in the shot, we're ready to go, and we're gonna say action, you're gonna have to open your eyes, and it's her braving it.
And that was just a very sticky, sandy, itching sensation, and there were so many horseflies.
By the time that we were done shooting, we're covered in sand and dirt, and you don't want to do anything other than sit in a bathtub and not talk to anybody for a week. Luckily, everyone was ready to crack jokes and to make fun of each other and to have fun out there. And if you feed people really well, they're going to be much happier than if you don't.
One thing I loved about this project is that Helen had a very thorough pre-production process. We went out to the beach in Redondo and actually shot with Amy digitally through most of the scenes ahead of time so that we could cut something together and really know what we're getting into and what we need out in the desert.
We decided to shoot film on this project, which is really kind of different for projects of this ilk. But between Helen's incredibly vivid storyboard work and understanding of the shots that she needed, and Dan's incredible sensitivity to film, I felt like it was possible.
The biggest thing for me about shooting film is that the colors that you get are more dynamic, they're richer than colors that we get with digital cameras. Unless you're spending like $100,000 for a digital camera package, you're not going to get these colors. And film just sees things in a different way. You see things more akin to how you would remember them than a straightforward view of the world, and I think that was very fitting for this project. We were a real skeleton crew all the way through.
Early on, it was really just two people. It was me and Helen. We were trying to figure out how to get the right people in to be able to make this happen. Mutchnik is one of the best young cinematographers working, and when you are looking at someone to come in and be a department head, you want someone who not only understands how to run a team, but has an incredible attitude. When you look at Amy, who I think just has so much talent, getting to work with her was really incredible. And I don't think that I've been able to work with a crew who's so incredibly special and brought so much to this from top to bottom. Honestly, there is no bottom, it's just top. It's just everyone was at the top of their game and they brought it.
To really just be patient and just kind of befriend nature.
This entire crew understood that it was bigger than us, it was about fighting the elements. Helen did a really great job of being able to compartmentalize what we were doing. It's like, okay, well, we know what's going to go on post, but we can't focus on it now because the task that we're trying to take on is so difficult. By just focusing on one step at a time, one shot at a time, one seat at a time, we're able to kind of take away a lot of those problems that you see, and to watch as a filmmaker is contending with situations that they have no control over while needing to be precise is sort of like the ultimate test. It was really cool to watch Helen take in these moments and roll with them and roll with those punches.
Getting to be out in nature, even though it's the desert, and getting to shoot with your friends, project that truly has some artistic drive behind it. This is definitely one of my favorite shoots in the past several years.
I absolutely loved the shoot. It was an incredible, incredible time. The team was great. There was only 10 of us, so we became a really close-knit family.
The excitement was palpable for everyone there, and I think that sometimes seeing something great gives you perspective on how great we can be. And there's an allure in doing the impossible for all artists. There's an allure in pushing yourself harder than you've ever been pushed before. There's simply no replacing what we were able to see and capture. And while it's not as simple as it was hard and we wanted to conquer it together, I really think it's that we all believe so much in the story and so much in the perspective of the story that we were willing to push ourselves as hard as humanly possible while still being safe to capture it in a way that nobody else could capture it.
Pretty brutal, but it's part of the experience.